This is Big Podcast.
Quick radio story for you. This is actually how I got into radio, or the first thing I was really doing as a business in radio. I was doing what we call radio promotion. I was in the music industry. We were trying to get records played on the radio. That was basically it. I would put together these promotional compilations that we would send out, take clients, put, 20 songs on an album, send them out to people. I'm sending them all over the country. And it just so happened that I moved from around the Memphis area up to Columbus, Ohio. No big deal, kept at it. But I'm going to all the new record stores in Columbus just to get a vibe for what the scene is like. I mean, new to me. They had been there. And I'm looking through the used CD section, and I see one of the records that I had sent, I'm sure, to a station in Columbus, Ohio. It had the biggest college at the time, Ohio State University. Somebody had turned around and sold it. And it was in the, who knows, the dollar CD bin or something. And it was so, I guess, cool, but also kind of depressing because there weren't more than maybe 1,000, 1,100 of these CDs made. And I was looking at one of them. On the used market, once you release something, you never, ever know where it's going to go. I wish we could put like a tracking tag on it. That guy was like, just sell it, give it away, whatever. Anyway, more on that on this episode. This is Build the Big Podcast, the marketing podcast for podcasters. If you got a podcast, you want to grow it, you want to make more people listen to it, you want to make more money with it, you are in the right place. Bigpodcast.com, that's the website. And this episode is the audio edition of my weekly newsletter. This is issue 232. I send this out every Friday morning, New York City time. You can find it at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is what we're talking about. True story. You see that show? True story. I got a story about that too. Anyway, endurance car race features $500 vehicles. Sound familiar? We'll talk about it. Pins. The best merch for fans? I think they may be. Empowered Podcasting Conference. Code Red. This episode of Build a Big Podcast is brought to you by Riverside.fm, a virtual studio that makes recording and editing the highest quality possible accessible to anyone. One of the things I love about Riverside.fm, you can record your podcast. It doesn't matter where you are, where your co-hosts are, where your guests are. You're going to sound like you're in the same room. But they're marketing tools, man. For one, you're going to get an AI-powered transcript. It's 99% accurate. Transcripts are great at making your podcast more accessible, but also for search engines finding your podcast. I love what they call magic clips. It goes through your long-form content and automatically finds the most interesting spots. It turns them into small social media clips that you can use to go out to your social media, go out to people that are following you on Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram. Bring them into your podcast episodes. It's a great way to grow your podcast. So not only can you record your podcast with Riverside.fm, you can edit it, you can also market it. A lot of great tools all in one. You can try it for free. Get a couple of hours at Riverside.fm. Do it. Take a look. Kick the tires. Look under the hood. Get an interview, maybe 2 interviews. See how it works for you. You want to stick around? You might. And if you do, I got a discount code for you. Big Podcast. BIGPODCAST. That's Riverside.fm. The discount code if you want to stick around. Big Podcast. BIGPODCAST. Let's get to it. All of these things about podcasting, when I go from thing to thing to thing, you're going to hear this sound. That's how you know I'm going to the next thing. That's how you know if you want more information, links, videos, images that I'm talking about from the previous thing. You go to newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 232. Ready? True story. Remember that TV show? True Story. John Brennan. I've done an interview with him here on this podcast. He's got a podcast now. It's about his time in the real world. One of the first reality television stars, still doing it. Cool guy. He's in town. He's writing, singing country music, and also podcasting. But I've got another true story for you. I want to be very sensitive here. I'm not making fun of anybody. This is a real problem, and I'll get to how you can help with this problem here in a second. But I want to talk to you about something else. I mentioned at the very top of this episode, when you put something out into the world, you don't know where it's going to go after that first sale, or after you send that first promo copy or give something away. That's the nature of something. You release it into the world, it has its own life. And this is a story about that. Here's the sensitive part. I live in a city with a lot of unhoused people. You may refer to them as homeless. It's a new world, man. We call them unhoused now. I use the word homeless so you know what I'm talking about. I'm in my car. I'm waiting under a bridge for a light to turn onto the interstate which is above me. A guy with a cardboard sign walked right in front of me. Didn't think much of it. Then I noticed his pants. I did a double take. I was like, whoa, what? Red sweats, and down the side of one leg, it says, call her daddy. This dude on the side of the road looking for donations, and he's got some call her daddy sweatpants. I don't think that he bought them online. And this is why I'm bringing this up. It's possible, like a lot of this podcast merch, it's what we call fast fashion. Kind of the game in podcast merch is that you've got new stuff coming out all the time. We got new colors in, a new design in. You've heard the promos. Maybe you're in this business. You know how it works. People overstock. Sometimes they undersell. And a lot of these clothes, if they're not going to landfills, they're going to Goodwill. They've got a second life, not necessarily with fans. This is the bottom line here. Merch is not just for super fans. It sends your brand out into the world and lives a life of its own. Do you want to be on an unhoused guy? Do you want to be on one of the uncool kids? Do you want to be like my CD was in the used bin selling for 25 cents or 50 cents or $1 or whatever it was? No, probably not. But it's better than you being in a landfill. Embrace it. You could win somebody over. Oh, call it daddy. What is that? Somebody who's not even into podcasting looks it up. Oh, cool. I like this. Somebody who doesn't know about the bands that I was promoting, the bands that I was actually trying to get on radio and actually have people listen to, listens to those bands, and then they become a fan. You never, ever know where your merch is going to end up. Just because somebody doesn't want it, they sell it to a used clothing store, it ends up in Goodwill, whatever. That does not mean that it's lost its value for you. And you don't pick where your message lands. All you can do is make sure that it's worth noticing wherever it does land. If you want help, you can work with me. It's called Big Podcast AMP, Audio Monetization Program. That's bigpodcast.com/AMP. And if you'd like to help the unhoused population, the National Coalition for the Homeless, it's made up of people just like you, just like me, who believe everyone should have a home. I have that linked, newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 232. Big Podcast AMP. Let's get back to it for a second. If you like the newsletter, you're going to love Big Podcast AMP. It's the Audio Monetization Program. That's what it stands for, AMP. It's a personal coaching program. You're working with me. We're going to do 3 things together. 1, grow your podcast audience. 2, get people talking about your podcast. And 3, make more money with your podcast and your podcasting skills. Sound good? It is good. Check it out, bigpodcast.com/AMP. That's bigpodcast.com/AMP. Endurance Car Race features $500 vehicles. Man, I love this stuff because I think it's a lot like podcasting. When I built this studio, and it's changed since then, and when I say studio, it's a 5x8 closet. I cleared it out. I put a bunch of foam in it. I got some $60 mics. I had pretty cheap interface just going into a Mac. No real special stuff at first. I wanted to do it on a big budget. I think it was maybe $500, a couple mics. You know, right now I've got a little bit more than that packed in here. But the bottom line is you don't have to have a lot of money to put out a good podcast. I was coming from radio. I could have brought in RE20s at first, and that's what I'm speaking into now, by the way. It's like, well, I kind of like RE20s. But I wanted to show that it could be done on a budget. That's one of the things that I think can make an interesting story about your podcast or anything. That's what these guys are doing with this endurance car race. It's called the 24 Hours of Lemons. This is the twist. The cars cost less than $500, and costumes are unlimited. A recent race, they used a Toyota Yaris. It was painted like a snail, and the team was dressed as bees. I like limitations, man. Limitations force you to be creative. If you attach them to your podcast, that's a fun way to engage both you and listeners. For example, this isn't a money one. So you go to social media, your listeners suggest and they vote on topics for you to record about. Within 2 hours, you produce and release an episode on the winning topic. I've got a link. It is at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue 232. It is about making a podcast with only $100 worth of equipment. Maybe that's the thing you do for a month. You've already got your studio. You say, oh, you know, what if we just had a budget of $100? What would that look like? It gets people engaged. Oh, man, this sounds pretty good. Maybe you decide you don't need all this expensive equipment. If you're going to embrace challenges, especially quirky challenges, creative constraints, You not only raise the stakes for yourself and you get creative for yourself, but you also invite your audience to be part of that journey. It's limitations. They're not roadblocks. They're fuel, man. You get fresh ideas. You get inside jokes. You get a genuine sense of community. Do you know the story behind Baba Booey? I just heard this. Baba Booey is the producer for The Howard Stern Show. That is not his name. That's a nickname. Gary Delabate is his name. But they call him Baba Booey because one day they're doing a show. He's talking about buying some animation cells of a character named Baba Bluey, but he mixed it up. He called it Baba Booey. All right, Future David here doing the edits and realized that I also messed this up. Gary was wrong. It's not Baba Booey. I was wrong. It's not Baba Bluey. It's Baba Louie. Found the original clip. Here it is. Piece of radio history.
Thinking about dabbling in. I'm thinking about buying. I'm serious. No, I'm thinking about
Get up a good Yogi and Boo Boo. Or maybe a Wilma.
No, they sell those too, but I'm thinking about getting
a Bam Bam.
No, you ready? Quick Draw McGraw and Bubba Boy. I'm thinking about getting.
Good.
Just have to see, how much money is coming in.
How much does a Bubba Louie go for?
Those are a little bit cheaper. Quick Draw and a Bubba Boy are about $325.
What do you call him?
Bubba Boy.
I thought it was.
Is it Bubba Louie?
It's Bubba Louie, isn't it?
Bubba Louie.
They ran with it. It's like calling Mickey Mouse Mickey Louse. And now that's your nickname. One of the funniest parts of the story, and I think you're going to relate to this, they do the whole show. It's 2 or 3 hours. And Gary goes to Howard Stern. He says, yeah, I think you guys have pretty much run that into the ground. Howard Stern says, no, we're just beginning. And here we are 30 years later, Baba Booey. It's got a life of its own. Inside jokes, new segment ideas, whatever. The best ones come from mistakes. The best ones come from forced creativity. Maybe you've got limited time, a limited budget, and you've got to force something out of that. Think, oh, that was actually pretty creative. We wouldn't have done that otherwise. Baba Booey, just a mistake. Is he happy about that name? I don't know. He's got an autobiography. You can check it out on Audible. I would suggest that. Maybe read the book if you like to read. Regardless, it's lasted 30-something years. And it came from one little thing that he did. Your podcast has that same opportunity. The best things in podcasting, like the best things in life, it comes from working with what you've got. You want more thoughts on this? You want to see these links? That 24 Hours of Lemons, some pretty funny cars here and pretty funny costumes. I've got it linked. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 232. The best merch for fans? Yeah, maybe. And pin, I'm talking P-I-N, not pen, P-E-N. Is there a difference in the way that's said? Pen or pin? Maybe, but I'm talking about P-I-N because sometimes my southern accent makes everything slide together like that. You know about Disney pin trading, right? It's a big deal for Disney fans. I've got a link to this, newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 232. Basically, it's this. You got kids, I'm sure adults as well, that have pins of Disney characters. You go to Disney World, and they're Disney cast members, they call them, employees, that also have pins of Disney. Some of them are limited edition. Some of them you can't buy. Some of them are there, then they're gone tomorrow. You get the idea. So you can take any pin that you have and trade it with somebody at Disney. They are forced to do a trade with you. It's a pretty cool concept. They turn into currency, and you're hoping to buy the dollar pin, let's say. I'm sure it's not $1, probably $5, $10, and get the $25 pin for it. It's a collector's thing. It's like Beanie Babies, Franklin Mint plates, maybe the chess set.
You acquire your set in an easy, systematic way. Simply call 1-800-334-6000 and receive 2 Civil War chess pieces every other month. You pay for only 1 piece at a time, only $17.50 a month. A remarkable price for art of this quality.
Franklin Mint plates.
Darling, it's beautiful. It's Chia-Ching design. See the devilfish? That's a symbol of marital fidelity.
I love the feel of fine porcelain and the delicate colors.
The Time Life 70s collection.
1 free phone call and AM Gold is on its way to your door. Now, if this isn't the best music collection you've ever heard, just send it back and Time Life will refund your money. No questions asked.
You'll never find a better 70s collection, and we know you'll never find a better offer.
It takes a while for you to get to 79. You start with 70. Under 40, don't know what I'm talking about? Look it up. Mark Gunn, this is a guy that I've known since my days in the music business. He's doing something with pins for his music. It's a very cool idea. It could easily be used for your podcast. It's not just a pin, P-I-N, that you can put on your shirt, your cap, wherever you put a pin. It comes with information. In his case, like liner notes for an album. It comes with the album itself. You could do something very similar for your podcast. It's a collectible. They're cheap to get going. The only thing that might be cheaper would be stickers. It's got a life of its own. Each one tells a story. You could easily do limited editions. People will buy more than one. You could attach value to them. This is an old music business trick that we would use. For example, wear a shirt from the band, get in free. Wear a shirt from the club, get in free. Wear the pin, get in free to the live event. If you're at the live event, get free popcorn, free drink. Who knows? It's a very cool idea that could easily be used for your podcast. Some podcasts, the pin trading thing would actually work for you. Some of these podcasts that are based on fandom, if you've got a podcast that's associated with a con or something that would be at a con, people love this stuff. I went to a podcasting event. It was here in Nashville a few years ago. It didn't really work out like I think they wanted it to. Just a few people there. Let's say there were 100 people there. And that sounds like a lot, maybe, but it was a huge venue. They're expecting thousands. Regardless, you've got this huge venue, 100 people there, a lot of empty space, and I have never seen people who are more enthusiastic about podcasting. It was crazy. If you've got one of these podcasts, one of these topics for your podcast, pin trading might be a good match for you. I've got more thoughts on how to do this. You can see Mark's examples. I've got more information about the Disney pin trading and how that works for you to get ideas from. Everything's linked at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 232. Empowered Podcasting Conference. Speaking of podcasting conferences, I've never been to the Empowered Podcasting Conference, by the way. Can't give you my personal experience, but it's run by a guy named Mark Ronick. He's got a solid reputation in the podcasting community. And I think that local regional events, that's what this Empowered Podcasting Conference is. These local regional events, they are a great opportunity for podcasters to connect with other podcasters in a personal way. I just talked about this podcasting event, 100 people there in a big venue. The organizers, obviously disappointed. The people who were there, not disappointed. For them, it was amazing. You don't need a lot of people at an event to make it an incredible event. I think a lot of people get hyped up. Oh, man, I'm going to this podcasting conference. It's got 5,000 people there, 3,500 people there, however many people they're throwing out there as far as the numbers they say are actually there. That's exciting. You couldn't meet 3,500 people there. You couldn't meet 5,000 people. There's just not enough time. But you know what you can do? If you've got 100 people in an event, and I don't know how big Mark's event is, by the way, it could be 200-300 people. Who knows? But it's a smaller event. It's a regional event. And if you've got an event like that, you're more likely to have really deep conversations with those people. If it's a small local or regional event specifically, you're more likely to be able to connect with those people throughout the year if it's an annual event. Then you see them at the event. Oh, man, great to see you. Yeah, we saw each other last week and the month before that and 2 weeks before that. These local regional events are hot for podcasting because it's going to get you in touch with people that you can connect with all year long. So don't think that bigger is better for networking. It is not. Sometimes regional and small, that is the best thing for networking. This event is happening September 26th to 28th. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is called the Empowered Podcasting Conference, and you can find more information at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 232. Code Red. If you have done enough podcast episodes, you will relate to this. And by enough, I'm saying, 10. It doesn't take many. Sometimes somebody says something on your podcast and it causes a problem. That's the issue. What do? I got a funny joke about this. It's linked at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 232. Also linked a way for you to reach out to me with your story. What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you after you have released a podcast? Meaning a guest comes back to you. Maybe it was an ad read that didn't go so well. You said something, the client was like, whoa, no, we don't want to be associated with that. And how did you handle it? I'm curious about that. I feel like that would be a good segment of this program. Like, here's where this went down in my podcast production. One of the things that happens quite often on my music business show, Music Business Radio, and when I say quite often, it's happened a handful of times. It doesn't happen every week. We are so good at getting these guys comfortable, and we're not trying to manipulate them. We're just cool guys. And engineer Stephanie, cool woman, that make you feel laid back when you come into the podcasting studio. And you should be doing that. But sometimes people forget that they're on the air. And sometimes people forget that in our case, 30,000 people are listening to every single episode that we do. And then it gets replayed. And there's 30,000 more people listening to it. They leave the studio. It sets in that a lot of people are going to hear what they just heard. They call you up. Hey, man, could you remove the part where I talked about shooting heroin? Or could you remove the part where we talked about breaking into, we hear crazy stories. It's musicians, man. And it's real life. And people aren't perfect. Sometimes people get caught up and they're having a good time and they say something they wish they hadn't. I don't do got you interviews. And a lot of times I'm already catching this stuff. Not that I'm trying to have like a mask on somebody that goes out to the world. Like, this guy's perfect and he's a great Christian and a really nice guy. I'm not trying to pretend that my guest is somebody that he's not. But what I'm also not trying to do is do something that would be embarrassing. Especially if somebody's telling a story about somebody else who's not there. Well, that's going to get removed because I don't want to drag somebody else into our story that we're talking about and somebody else isn't there to defend himself. Regardless, I call that a code red. That call, hey man, could you remove that? I want to know what you do when something like that happens. As I mentioned, I've also got a joke about it. You'll find it at newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue 232. Do reach out to me if you got one of these stories. I would love to hear it. Maybe something that I'll feature here. Hey, that's it for this episode of Build a Big Podcast, the marketing podcast for podcasters. If you want to make sure that you never miss an episode, you can subscribe, and this is how to do it. I've made it easy on you. Go to bigpodcast.com. You'll see 3 buttons, one for Android, one for iPhone, one for an RSS feed. However you get your podcast, I got you covered with just one button. Click it, and automatically the new episodes of Build a Big Podcast shot down to your iPhone, your Android, or wherever you get your podcast. You'll find that at bigpodcast.com. Also at bigpodcast.com, the audio monetization program, AMP. We call it Big Podcast AMP. If you want one-on-one coaching with me, you want to grow your podcast, build a bigger podcast, build an audience around your message, spread that message, and also make money. We'll work on all those things together. You can find more information at bigpodcast.com. Go there right now, subscribe, check out Big Podcast AMP before you forget, and I'll see you on the next episode of Build a Big Podcast.
They're back. The Franklin Mint brings back the cars of the 50s. Classics like the 57 Corvette, 56 Thunderbird, 59 Cadillac Eldorado, 12 imported authentically detailed die-cast dream machines in the classic 1:43 scale. Remember how you dreamed of owning a Continental Mark II, the Studebaker Starliner, the Buick Skylark? They're all back. Fantastic recreations of the originals, handcrafted with up to 50 separate components, hoods, and doors that open. Tail fins, bucket seats, detailed engines. Each hand-polished in its original colors. Quality found on custom replicas costing hundreds of dollars and more. To start your Franklin Mint Cars of the 50s collection, call 1-800-535-5599. Get one imported model every other month for an incredibly low $55.